What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fluff Hammer. Absolutely everyone has been asking me about painting with metallics. So I thought, what better way than to get some brand new sets, use what I think are some of the finest metallics available on the market today, and also do a free giveaway so one of you can also experience this fantastic set of metallics. So if you want to learn about metallics, want to win some free metallics, keep watching the video. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go. So here we go, the Pro Acryl paint set by Monument Hobbies. This one is for me and as a review copy for the channel. And this one is for one lucky winner. So here we go, the Pro Acryl Metalics Set. Here we have the bronze colour. I've got the original lids on them at the moment, but I haven't took the seals off yet. And I will be swapping them out for these alternative lids that you can buy. I think they're about £5 for a bag of 10. That was from Element Games. And I've had the original lids on all my other Pro Acryls, but they are quite frustrating. As you can see, they build up quite a lot around the top. You can also get a little seal build up like what this one has. So as you unscrew the top stays closed, and then you have to break off the little bit of paint to get your paint out. Sometimes that can then spray all over you, which I've had 3 or 4 times. So that is, yeah, it's quite frustrating. So I'm going to try out these little dripper bottle tops. Like I said, they are sold separately, but they are nice and cheap. So I'm going to be putting them on this metallic set. So I'm going to crack on and do that, put all these tops on, get all these seals off, and we'll get into the paint and see what we're dealing with. So first up, we're going to go with the bronze. What I'm going to do here is basically just pour a little bit of each colour out, just to give you a kind of idea of the shades and tones. And then I'm going to spread it around with a brush, just to give you an idea of the coverage of the paints. As you can see already, the consistency is nice straight out of the bottle. I would still recommend diluting these paints 50-50, almost always with water, but you can see here the coverage is really good and the pigment is strong. Unless you've been kind of living under a rock for the last 6 months, I'm sure you'll have seen a lot of Pro Acryl in the hobby space, and that's because the paints are so well pigmented. You know, they're so strong. And you can see here the coverage is fantastic from kind of single coat. I'm just going to go through the entire paint range here just to show off what we've got. So far we've got the bronze, the light bronze and the copper. Copper's actually a really difficult colour as well, so it's actually nice to have a nice strong copper. I don't know if you've used the copper from Games Workshop or from Vallejo. Both of them are awful consistency and awful coverage. They're very like gloopy, almost like there's way too much medium in them or something, and yeah, they go all gloopy, so they're not easy to use. The golds here are really good as well. They're nice and bright. I'll do some comparisons in the video in a little while into versus like a Citadel range or Vallejo, so you can get an idea of where the colours lie shade wise, comparison to like Origami Gold and Liberator Gold and the other one from Citadel, which is Retributor Armor, which is actually a big favourite of mine. The coverage on that is fantastic. This is one of the colours that everyone is raving about. That is dark silver, and the coverage on it is absolutely awesome, but also it's just the perfect kind of base colour. And then this silver here, as you can see, that coverage straight over that dark silver is almost solid in one coat. So yeah, they're really, really strong. Really enjoy all of the shades and tones in this set. There's none of them that I don't think are useful. And this metallic medium is something that's totally new. So it's like a contrast medium, Lamian medium kind of thing, but with metallic flakes in it. So you can dilute your metallic paints, but without kind of losing the sheen. sometimes if you dilute metallics, you can then get like a flaky effect where obviously you're taking a lot of the metal and diluting it too much. So that's something really interesting. I didn't even know they did it, and I didn't know it came with this kit, so I'm really looking forward to trying that out. As you can see now, here we've got the bright gold versus the auric armor gold, and in shade they're very, very similar, but you're about to see how much stronger the colour tone is from the Pro Acryl. It's hard to see in the bright light with the reflection on the kind of metallic flake, but you'll see in a little while as I put my arm over and it comes in a shade how much more saturated the gold is. But the colour tone is very similar, so it's a perfect kind of swap out if you're planning to use auric armor gold, or if you're swapping from Citadel into Pro Acryl, you can easily swap between these two shades and you won't notice the difference. So next up we're going to be doing some comparisons. I'm just going to use this primed bit of MDF from my Series D box, and we're going to start off with the Vallejo Glorious Gold, which is actually, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the best metallic in the Vallejo range. And then I'm going to be using a Retribute Armor from Citadel, and then it's going to be the Rich Gold from Pro Acryl. So these three are the kind of main competitors for your mid-tone gold shade. So the Glorious Gold from Vallejo actually has quite good coverage, as you can see here, and it's a nice rich tone. The Retributor Armor, which I thought was actually like a really strong gold, tends to look quite washed out in comparison to these other two. You can see it here going on, it's quite yellowy and rich, but as you can see the edges kind of drying, it's quite quickly fading into more of a silvery gold. But again, coverage is good. That's what it's been my go-to gold for the last 2-3 years easily, so it's a really good colour. And then we're going to grab the Rich Gold from Pro Acryl, and again you'll be able to see how good the coverage is, but also how smooth the paint is. It flows really nicely. As you can see, it's a lot thinner than Vallejo and a lot thinner than Citadel straight out of the bottle, and it flows really nicely. Like I've said, you don't need to add any medium or water to it. I still would recommend just diluting it a little bit just to keep it thin enough so you aren't obscuring any detail. But yeah, it's definitely a really, really good colour. Next up, does it dry brush well? The answer is yes, it does dry brush really nicely. We're going to go starting into the silver palette here. So it's one I've used a lot, the dark silver is a big favourite. I'm just going to grab a dry brush and pick some up my brush. I'm going to wipe away all the excess on a bit of tissue, and then I'm going to use this texture pad to show you the dry brushing. So most people who be doing lots of metallics will tell you that dry brushing is the way to go. It's probably the most common technique used with metallics, dry brush mixed with washes and stuff. So next we're going to go through a couple of other applications. We're going to be starting with the Rich Gold as a base coat. I'm going to be doing this on just some spare bits and pieces I've got laying about. This is the sword from the Wraith Knight, but I'm just going to be painting the hilt, and I'm going to go over a few different bits. I'm going to leave some just base coated. I'm going to do one part where I will just use all metallics, and then I'm going to show you the difference between a normal wash and a gloss wash and what difference that has on the metallic pigments. And then also I'm going to do something they call true metallic metal. So that's where you manually kind of place your highlights as if you were painting non-metallic, so metals using kind of yellows and browns, but you paint it using metallics and non-metallic washes. So first up, we're going to be using the Reichland Flesh Shade Gloss from Citadel, and this is definitely what you want to do if you want to have a bright, shiny metal. So if you're doing something kind of stormcasty where you don't want it to look too weathered or worn, or something like Custodes, if you're not doing like a grim dark version, this is where you want to keep that metallic nice and bright and shiny. The gloss breaks the surface tension really easily, So what that means is it will end up running into the recesses more, but it won't actually stain a lot of the gold that's there. So you end up retaining a lot more kind of bright shiny gold. Obviously at the end you can matte this down with a matte varnish, so you don't actually have to have like a gloss effect on it as such, but it's just how the shade is produced. As you can see now on the bottom of the sword, I've used the standard Reikland Flesh shade, and you can see here from the gloss it's very shiny, and the Reikland Flesh shade without the gloss has made it very matte. It's took away a lot of the shine of the pigment. So yeah, that's two different ways of shading down this gold, or shading down any kind of gold or silver for that matter of fact. Next up, I'm going to be doing the true metallic metal. So I'm going to be using just black and dried bark, and I'm going to be creating like a little wash with them, a glaze, and I'm basically just going to place the shadows as if I was painting this non-metallic. So I've just picked a light source and I'm just going to work away with this, do 4 or 5 layers of glazing, and once that's done I'm going to try out some of the metallic medium with the rich gold to try and bring a bit of the shine back, and then I'm going to go into the bright gold and finally the white gold for some highlights. So that will be our true metallic effect. So as this time lapse draws to a close, I want to thank you all for watching. My overall review on the Pro Acryl stuff is it's a fantastic paint. I really do think it's worth the money. It's really competitively priced. It's definitely equally as good as anything on the market, if not better. I really suggest you pick some up, or if you keep watching you can enter the competition to win some for free. So yeah, Pro Acryl, 10 out of 10 for me. Love them. So here we go, the competition to win the Pro Acryl Metalics Set. Very, very simple. If you want one entry, just subscribe to the YouTube, like this video, and comment down below me. And that's simple as that, one entry. If you want an additional entry, head over to @fluffhammer_paint on Instagram, where you can comment on the post on there. If you follow me on Instagram, comment me again on the post, you'll get a second entry. If you tag 3 friends in that post, you'll get a third entry. Simple as that. The competition will go on for as long as it takes. As soon as we get 500 likes on this video, I will draw it. So if it takes a day, a week, or a month to get 500 likes on this post, it is as long as it is. Unfortunately, the competition will only be open to people in Europe, but I will make sure and get it posted out, insured as well and tracked, so you know it's definitely coming. And that's as simple as that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something, and I look forward to sending one of you the set. See you in the next one. Thanks everyone.